Chaos Control. Hello. Seems like Creeper 139 is not filling in, so I'll be filling in for him. Let's begin with the video.
I love conspiracy theories, despite a lot of them just being
Sonic theories.
and outlandish.
I
I
swear.
always find it fun thinking, well, what if it's true? I've already made a video about Sonic conspiracy theories nearly a year ago, and many of you seem to enjoy that one, so here's part
I hope they're interesting.
2. If you haven't seen the first one yet, maybe check it out if you enjoy this
You better
video,
not waste
but I
my
won't waste
time.
any more of your time, so let's just get into it. Sonic CD hides an evil message. Starting it off with a classic. I've always found it odd how there are many creepy moments in Sonic CD, like the soundtrack for example, the US version that is. The Game Over screen has a very sinister sounding track with evil laughs. Always creeped me out as a kid, and the boss
Oh, and
theme
on
has a
a
very
side
similar
note-
effect. It sounds terrifying.
Sorry for not posting. It's been a while. I'm on vacay.
Like, why were these tracks put in a Sonic game of all things?
That's
the
fine.
Japanese/European soundtrack doesn't have any of this, and that's great, but it goes beyond that. There are many instances in the game where Sonic, well, game overs himself, I guess you could say. If you stand still in a level for too long, Sonic will just say, "I'm out of here," and leave. Now, you can interpret this however
That
you want to,
blue-headed
but there's also an unused sprite animation in the game files that shows, well, you can kind of just tell. Like, what the actual... man. Oh, but that's not all. If you head to the game's sound test menu and enter the codes
Okay.
12 and 25, you see this.
He's cooking. Let him cook.
Did you shit yourself? Don't be ashamed. I did too. We have this creepy pattern of Sonics with a weird humanoid face, and if you're playing with the US soundtrack, then that creepy boss music definitely doesn't help. And then the message
Yeah, I
translates to
know.
something along the lines
I'm
of
supposed
"One is
to
infinite at Sega Enterprise."
say this like,
signed by Majin. Majin
hit the
supposedly
like
means
button and
the
subscribe,
devil.
something
And you know
like
what?
that.
I'm not even going to entertain this anymore. All of this has been debunked already. Some people thought that this was originally
No.
supposed to be some kind of anti-piracy screen, but no,
Somehow
it's really
I'm
just
becoming
supposed
more
to be a
famous
funny
than Creeper
Easter egg left in by one of
139.
the game designers. Majin, or Mazin, was a childhood nickname for Masato Nishimura, the game's landscape designer. So no, there's no demonic message or anything. But I still think it's kind of weird how there was just a bunch of downright creepy and kind of disturbing material put in
Hey,
this
Shadow.
game. But no, this theory is unlikely. In fact,
fuck?
it's just not true. The Sonic 3 mural was used for Shadow's creation. This is another pretty popular
What?
one. Shadow the Hedgehog was introduced, and something that people always wondered was, why is Shadow a hedgehog? Before Shadow, Gerald wanted the Biolizard to be the ultimate life form, but when that failed, he created
I'm watching
Shadow.
a video
But
here.
why a hedgehog of all things? Well, in Sonic 3, in the Hidden Palace
For
Zone,
your
there's
channel.
a mural that's meant to depict Super Sonic going up against a godlike creature. This not only foreshadowed the end of Sonic and
Pathetic.
Knuckles, but it also implied that Sonic harnessing the Chaos Energy was some sort of prophecy. That's cool, but where does Shadow play into this? Well, it's heavily theorized that Gerald used this mural as inspiration
it's a
for
silent
Shadow's
reaction,
design. Hell, this is not the
reaction,
only mural
but
that may have been used by
what do you
Gerald.
expect
In
from the
Sonic
Ultimate
Adventure,
Life Form?
there's a giant one that shows Chaos, which could have inspired the design of the
Gosh.
Biolizard. So this theory remained pretty dormant for a while. That was until Sonic X Shadow Generations was released. In the game, you can collect
Okay.
pages from Gerald Robotnik's journal, and you can also get your hands on a physical release, which is quite cool as well. Anyway, Gerald does
I don't know how
mention
many
within his
video-
journal entries
or,
that
like,
when the Biolizard
theories
was created, he
there
used
are, but
salivary
we'll see.
for their ability to regrow. So no, the Biolizard isn't
This
necessarily
creeper over
based
here
on
just
chaos.
told me to
But with
react
the Shadow
to
thing,
it.
unfortunately, there's no confirmation.
Theories
of the
seem
theory in his
interesting.
journal. However, Gerald does
bad.
mention that he has visited Angel Island. He just dipped because he felt like he wasn't supposed to be there. Yeah, f***ing right. I think he definitely got a glimpse of this mural, and yes, I do think this theory is very likely. Sonic is homeless. Ever notice how Sonic never really
Oh, hey,
settles
Shadow.
down in one
What?
place. He's constantly trotting the globe, going on different adventures
tell
with
the
all his
viewers,
friends. So it makes sense that he doesn't have a place to call home.
that I won't
Some
be
people
filming
may
a
be
VR
quick to
chat
say
for a
that
while.
Green Hill is Sonic's home, and while that may be true when it comes to the
What's
comics,
VR
Sonic
chat?
Prime, or the Sonic movies, but in the games, there's not really any
Just
explicit
tell them
evidence that suggests
they
that
can hear
Sonic's
you.
home is Green Hill Zone. Well, recently, there
just
was a
move
book
away.
published that says that Sonic lives in Green Hill Zone. So maybe he actually does have a home. Yeah, still no. Chris, the associate lore manager for the Sonic series, replied to a post talking about this
Okay,
book,
let's be quite
saying
honest.
that it was a
Most
mistake,
of these
confirming
series,
that Sonic is actually homeless.
they were
In
gonna
my
be
opinion,
proven
I don't think Sonic
false.
really needs a home. I mean, in all
But it's good
seriousness,
to
does the guy
speculate.
even sleep? He's constantly on the run, helping other people. He has no time to slow down and relax. But there's also a part of me that's like, well, come on, dude, is Sonic's home being Green Hill really that crazy, to the point where they had to remove it from a book? But whatever, the theory is very likely. In fact, it's confirmed. The Sonic multiverse is real. The whole multiverse trope is pretty common in many pieces of media nowadays. In my opinion, it's almost overused to the point where multiverse stories nowadays just feel stale. I think we can all sort of tell that there's maybe some sort of multiverse going on in the Sonic series. I mean, think about it. How many interpretations of Sonic have we had alone?
I'm watching this
Classic
and not
Sonic,
Sonic.
modern Sonic, Prime Sonic,
I don't know,
Green
he would
Sonic,
probably
3D
spoil
Sonic,
some.
the list goes on and on. And that's not even mentioning everything with
Yeah, that's why I didn't tell
that
him.
hints at a multiverse. I mean, we had Sonic Prime, which explored many different
You needed
universes,
to bring the
which
ultimate
featured
life
different
form for this,
iterations of
right?
the main cast of Sonic characters. And I know it's easy to quickly go and be like, oh, it's Sonic Prime, it means nothing. But Sonic Prime has been confirmed to be canon, and that further adds to this theory. How on earth are we supposed to believe that this is the same Sonic we've been playing as in the games? Well, I don't think he is.
Okay,
Sure, Sonic Prime
to
can
be
be
quite
canon all at
honest,
once, but I
these
think it
theories
exists in a separate universe from
are
the
like
main
theories that
Sonic
you
game
speculate.
universe. That would make
You know,
much more
it's
sense instead of
good
trying to do mental
think
gymnastics to
about
somehow
it.
prove that Prime Sonic is
Yeah.
the same as Game Sonic. And as for adaptations that have been confirmed to be non-canon,
just glad
like
they
the
don't bring
movies,
me
for
in.
example, those can easily be in a separate universe as
But I
well.
don't wanna
And it's
jinx it
actually
either.
easier to do that because it's not canon. It's an adaptation,
I'm
a
not
different
in these videos,
interpretation
am I?
of the stories from the games. That's the entire point of a multiverse.
Shadow, just watch
And even
the
within
video,
the
man.
games,
You're
we have
supposed to
Sonic
react to the
Boom,
video.
a completely different take on Sonic that doesn't fit in with other
Diane.
games at all, despite references to Sonic Boom characters appearing in other games, like Sticks appearing in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and Amy name-dropping Sticks in Sonic Frontiers. Maybe the Sonic Boom Sticks is just Sticks from a different universe. Now, I guess the only question that remains is, will these universes ever cross over? We've already had time travel multiple times throughout the Sonic series, Sonic CD,
These theories don't
06,
seem that
Generations,
bad.
Boom, Forces, Generations again. Since that trope has been used so many times before, I wouldn't be surprised
kinda
at all
like
if
how the
in the
guy
near
is
future
narrating,
we
you know.
got a multiverse game that includes
One
many
minute
different
he's like
versions of
chill,
Sonic.
and then the
Do
next
I want
minute
that?
he's just
Absolutely
out
not.
of
Again,
nowhere.
I don't like multiverse stories, but I do
Starts
think
yelling
Sega
from
could
the
be
top
hinting
of
at one big
his
crossover point
lungs.
between all of these different interpretations of the
Bruh.
Sonic franchise, making this theory pretty likely in my book. Sonic
We
is
got
a
another
villain. One of the
zesty-ass
weirdest parts of
narrator.
Sonic Adventure 2 is that so many people mistook Sonic for Shadow. Amy thought Shadow was Sonic without taking a good look at him, and Sonic got jailed by Gun when they were going after Shadow. But it's really weird because
Bro,
they
can't
don't
get
really
enough.
look that similar. Sure, they're both hedgehogs, but they have different color palettes, different quills, you get the idea. But what if Gun was actually trying to capture Sonic the whole time? What if Sonic was rightfully captured? Well, that begs the question. What the hell did Sonic do? Apart from committing multiple instances of property damage throughout the years,
Shadow,
like,
you need
bro,
to react.
watch where you're going. That, along with fleeing from the police, breaking every speed limit imaginable, and more property damage, I actually think this might have something to do with the events of Sonic Adventure 1. What happens at the end of that?
trying
game?
to.
Perfect Chaos completely
Just
destroys
let me
Station
watch the
Square,
video,
likely
and
costing
then
dozens of lives and
I'll
leaving
make
the city
comments.
in ruin. But don't
Damn.
worry, guys, Sonic is here to save the day. But when you think about it, this is all kind of his fault. He let the emeralds get into the wrong hands, which powered up Chaos. Even though Eggman was the evil mind behind all
Okay,
of it,
Hot
Sonic
Topic.
was the catalyst who left the Chaos Emeralds unprotected. This applies to Knuckles too with the Master Emerald. So Sonic and Knuckles
You
giving
just
up the
called me
Chaos
Hot
Emeralds to
Topic.
Eggman caused him to feed the emeralds to Chaos, which led to him destroying the city, leading the government
Yeah,
to
bro.
hold Sonic responsible. Yeah, I know, right? That's one hell of a slippery slope. But actually, no, I don't think this theory is true.
Bruh.
Obviously, Gun was looking for Shadow
And I'm
because
the one
he
who's
escaped
doing
the
better?
cryo chamber, and they just somehow looked at Sonic and thought he was Shadow. I don't even know. Regardless, I think this
I
theory
swear, this
is
is not even a
unlikely,
reaction
but
at this
Sonic
point.
could
This is
definitely
just
be
me
classified as a
beefing
criminal in certain
with the
scenarios.
creator of this
Just not
channel.
in this particular
Was not
case.
posting
Metal
at all.
Sonic is Sonic from the future. Sonic CD is all about time travel, and as the player, you have the ability to travel back to the past in order to create either a good future or bad future for the zone you're playing in. I'm sure we're all aware of this by now. Good futures are bright and lively, but bad futures usually result in everything being roboticized and left
I
in
actually
ruin.
kind of
The
at the
theory
same
states
time
that
want to
Metal
know
Sonic, instead of being
if
created
he
by Eggman
created
from
these
scratch,
theories or
is
he's just
Sonic,
basing it
but
off
from
of
the bad future.
other
In the bad
theories.
future, Sonic fails to defeat
I don't
Eggman,
know.
so Eggman roboticizes him and turns him into Metal Sonic. And then he used the Time Stones to get Metal Sonic back to the present to fight, well, himself. This theory is also supported by Sonic Heroes. In that game, Metal Sonic is constantly saying that he's the real Sonic. And as the player, we just kind of assumed he was talking about how he was more powerful than Sonic or something. But what if he actually is the real Sonic? What if his whole arc in Heroes was just him trying to get revenge on Eggman? I think that makes a lot of sense. But then another question arises. Can Eggman even turn Sonic into a robot? We all just kind of assume
some of them
he
are
can
wild.
because he always traps the flickies
Some of these
inside of his
theories are
robots.
wild.
But
I'll
what
agree on
about
that.
a full-sized hedgehog? The answer is still yes.
I
And
mean,
the
some
proof
of it's
is in none other
speculation,
than
but
Sonic Lost World. If you played
seems
this
good.
game, then you may or may not remember that the Deadly Six were actually trying to turn Sonic into a robot using Eggman's tech. But they accidentally snagged Tails in the process, who then hacked the system so he wouldn't be completely turned into a robot. So it's clear that Eggman has the ability to turn pretty much whatever living being he wants into a robot. But there's one pretty major flaw that kind of hinders this theory. If Metal was out to get revenge on Eggman and Sonic Heroes, then why wasn't he doing the same in Sonic CD? He was actually working for Eggman in Sonic CD. Was he just confused, overcome by anger, so he
I
forgot who
swear.
he truly was? I mean, it wouldn't be the only time this
I
has
wonder
happened
if
in the
there's a
series, like
theory
with Shadow's whole revenge plot. So I guess that is the best
that
explanation.
if
But
Sonic's
would
a
he really want to
autistic,
fight against his past
if
self?
he is, I'm gonna
I'm
laugh.
still going to say this theory is likely because
And
too
I
many
mean
things line up,
genuinely
but this
laugh.
theory is not without its flaws. The games are in a time loop. One of the most prevalent ongoing debates within the Sonic community is whether the games are supposed to have a consistent continuity or not. Are all of these games supposed to be a part of one
by the
massive
way, Shadow,
timeline, or
there's
are
already
they
a
supposed
theory
to be episodic adventures
that,
that stand on their own? While
you're
both can be
autistic.
true, it seems that recently there has been an extended effort to make that continuity a little too obvious. I mean, in Frontiers alone,
Never
we had
mind, I
countless
don't
references
like
to
theories
previous
anymore.
games, other characters, etc., which was basically their way of saying, yep, everything is canon. But that really doesn't make much sense when you
You know,
realize
if you want
how
to react
different
to it,
these
you
games are from
can.
one another. Obviously, every Sonic game introduces new ideas. but
Shouldn't
this
you
applies
be
to pretty
reacting
much
to
every
things?
aspect of the game. The level environments, art style, and most importantly, Sonic's characterization. Within the games alone, Sonic has
guys,
gone through so
if you
many
guys
different
want me to do a
iterations, but
reaction,
how does
I'll
that
do
make
it. They're
sense
pretty
when this
easy
is
to
supposed
film.
to be the same character that we've seen throughout the franchise's history? Well, here's
Yeah,
where the
whatever.
theory comes in. It's theorized that every time Sonic and crew use
Let's
the
see who
Chaos
blows
Emeralds,
up even
the
more,
timeline
me or
completely
you.
resets to the beginning of that adventure in warped reality.
Dumbass.
This is how we see different environments, different tones,
Blue Hot
different art
Topic.
styles, and everything in between in different Sonic games. We know from multiple points in the series that the Chaos Emeralds
Talking
have the
about who's the
ability
one
to
being
manipulate
pathetic.
time and space, so it would make sense for the
Yo,
timelines
pay
to
attention
reset
a
every
bit
time Sonic and crew use
to the video.
Chaos Emeralds. This could also explain the inconsistent lore. You can reference previous
Okay.
games as much as you want, but there's a point where it starts to not make sense anymore. I know I used this example earlier in the video,
So
but
far,
when
so
Six was
far,
name dropped
pretty
in Sonic
good.
Frontiers, that opened up so
Crazy
many different
theories.
plot holes because we all
Okay.
thought that Boom wasn't supposed to be canon. But if Boom
The-
just took
the guy
place
was in
before
line
those
with
timeline
thumbnails.
resets, then that's not an
I'll
issue.
give him that.
There are a few problems I have with this theory, though. For one, the Chaos Emeralds are not used in every
Hey, at
game,
least his
so the
videos are not
timeline
as
can't be
pathetic
reset
as
at the end of each game.
Creeper
For two, if the
139's.
timelines do get reset at the end of each game, then how does Sonic remember moments
Someone's
from
gotta be
previous
talking with
games?
his goofy
And
ass
finally,
intros.
if the timelines reset every time the Chaos Emeralds get used, then
Bro.
literally nothing would happen. Sonic
Why
couldn't
you bring
go
me
super
into this?
because everything would just reset. Shadow
Because
wouldn't
I
be able to use
can.
Chaos Control either. So I think this theory is pretty unlikely, but it's a cool idea. Sonic is just a Dragon Ball clone. Alright, I'm going to be 100% serious with y'all. I don't
Bro,
know
did you
a
just
single
fall?
thing about the Dragon Ball series, and I know that may be crazy coming from a Sonic fan. So
Bruh.
I'm going to leave this to my
I
good
swear,
friend
Creeper's so
Charlotte Ten,
pathetic.
who can explain this much better than I can.
Yeah, you're right. I can do it better. You fucking dumbass. Can't even watch
Bro,
Dragon Ball
focus
for
on the
5
Dara
seconds. It's okay.
reaction. as old as time. Ever since
Yeah, whatever.
Sonic 2, Sonic the Hedgehog has always been compared to Dragon Ball Z. But there's a theory that
Okay.
the entire series is basically
So
just
far,
Dragon
he's
Ball
been
Z
cooking.
untold with the
Now, whether they're true or
Starting off
false,
with what is probably
obviously
the
most of them are
obvious
false.
one, Super
But-
Sonic being inspired by the Super Saiyan. You can even see one of the concept arts for Super
I
Sonic
mean,
is a direct one-to-one
with
with the first
the
panel
Sonic
from Dragon
timeline
Ball Z,
officially
where
being
Goku goes
posted,
Super Saiyan. And also, it's interesting
seems like the
that
timeline
after
got
Sonic
fixed,
2, the amount
even
of
though
emeralds changes from 6 to 7.
Sonic
almost
06
like
was a
it's
little bit
mirroring
messed up,
7 Dragon
and
Balls.
Sonic
It's
CD
been
as
said
well.
multiple times
But-
that Silver from Sonic 06 takes heavy inspiration from Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, and that Shadow takes heavy inspiration from Vegeta. Even
And those
one
are
of
some
his
good
early
ones.
concept arts, one of the keywords says Vegeta.
Not too
Knuckles is
far-fetched.
constantly
I'll
compared
give
to
you that.
Piccolo because they both used to be an enemy or a rival of the main character, but then turn to the good side. And one of my favorite theories is that the entirety of Sonic Frontiers Final Horizon is just a retelling of the Frieza saga from Dragon Ball Z.
You know what, I'm kinda
Sonic's
glad that I
friends try to
volunteered
find the 7 Chaos Emeralds,
to do
while
this.
Sonic is out training to become stronger to fight the main villain, who is a world-ending deity that can destroy planets. And it's only until Sonic unlocks a new form that he is able to defeat the world-ending deity. In Dragon Ball Z, Goku is out training while his friends go find the 7 Dragon Balls to try and defeat a world-ending deity, aka
Okay, other than
Frieza,
the
and
theory
it's not
of
until Goku finds a new
somehow
form,
that
aka
I'm
Super
autistic.
Saiyan, that he is able to defeat the deity. And another major comparison is that the
This
Cocos
one's got
are
some good
mostly
Sonic
compared to the
and
Namekians
all the other
because
round
they're the
game
natives of the
theories.
island, while the Namekians are the natives of planet Namek, and they're the only two that know the location of their respective MacGuffins. So yeah, when you add
He's been
everything
cooking
up,
so-
it's easy to see
so
how
far.
Dragon Ball and Sonic are very similar, let's put it at that. You see, I wouldn't have to say any of this if Riley just watched the damn show!
Sonic doesn't
Hey,
age.
if you guys
Despite
want me
the
to
game
do
seemingly
more
taking place
reactions,
over several
I mean, I'm a
years,
little bit
Sonic has
silent,
always remained
'cause
the same age.
this is
Now,
my
while
first
his
time
actual
reacting to
current
something.
age is unconfirmed, game manuals tell
If
us
you
that
wanna
he
see
is
Creeper
around
react
15
this
to
time,
16 years old. And
make sure
he
you
has
hit the
been
like
that age
button
forever now.
and subscribe.
But why is that? Well, it's theorized that because Sonic goes so
Hey, yo,
fast,
guys,
time moves slower for him.
don't
Think
butt
of the
into
scene in
my
the first
video.
Sonic movie in the
This
bar.
is-
When Sonic goes really fast, it looks as if time just
Bro,
slows down around
this
him.
is
What if
my
that
channel.
causes his
They can
aging
only
as
your
well?
feet.
This would explain
They
why
can
he
only see
hasn't
your
really
face.
looked that much different over the years. But even if this theory
Alright,
isn't
fine, whatever.
true, there still isn't any solid proof that Sonic actually does age. Like, doesn't
Thanks
even
for,
have
like,
a canonical age
50
anymore. I don't really
subs,
think it
guys.
matters
Oh my
that much,
God.
But as for the theory
Like, no,
itself,
sincerely.
I think it's kind of likely.
Yeah,
I
because of
guess.
me.
Sonic was an alien one. Ending
know,
it off
you
with
shouldn't
by
be
far the
the
craziest
ultimate-
and most outlandish Sonic theory I have ever seen.
Actually, I don't have a
Basically,
comeback, I'm
Sonic
sorry.
wasn't created to be a video game character.
Yeah,
Well,
you-
he
you're
was,
the
but his true
ultimate
intention was to
stupidest
serve
person
as a
ever.
warning of extraterrestrial life
Ooh, so
existing
cold.
in our universe. Let me try to
No, you
explain
just
this.
didn't
First,
say.
we have Sonic's
Alright,
design.
whatever.
He's supposed to be a hedgehog, but he shares many humanoid attributes as well.
You know what?
And he's blue. That, along with his
In this
big eyes
video,
and speedy
I
abilities,
liked it.
make him a pretty
You
good
know, it got
representation
some
of what aliens could
complicated
look like. And then the
theories
game
that,
itself was
although they were
released in
false,
1991
it's got to-
at the height of the space race.
it's good to
and at
ponder
this time,
around.
UFO sightings were becoming
know.
more common. So they created a game with environments partially overrun by robots and machinery to
And
show
it's all
people
Sonic,
what
so-
alien civilization could look like. In an earlier version
Maybe
of
it is
Sonic
true.
1, UFOs
I need to
were
ask
present in the
him.
background, further adding to this theory. Then we have the Chaos Emeralds, which can symbolize
I wonder if he's
extraterrestrial
seen 'em.
artifacts. The emeralds have the ability
Yeah, I
to
don't think
manipulate
so.
time and space, which may have been implemented to show how that power could be possible if aliens existed. And Eggman abusing the powers of the emeralds serves as a warning of how that power could easily fall into the wrong hands and can be used for bad reasons. And then we have the Sonic movies. In the movies, the characters are explicitly stated to be aliens from another planet. And the movies were
No, we're nearing the
intentionally
end.
made this way to get Sonic back into the mainstream and make
But
the audience familiar with his
I like these
alien-like
theories.
design again. The Sonic
Hey, if you
series
want me
as
to
a
do this
whole was
again, I'll do
created
it.
with the intention of having the human race become familiar with extraterrestrial life.
Anytime.
Okay, no,
Anytime.
it wasn't. I don't even need to explain why this theory is just a load of horse shit. It's very, very, very
Just don't let it
unlikely,
be
and
that
that's all that
autistic
needs to be
video.
said about that. Well,
Or
there you
whatever
have
about
it.
me.
That was another batch of Sonic conspiracy theories. While most of these are just not true in the slightest, they are really fun to think about, and that's why I really like talking about them. I also wanted to thank you guys again
Alright,
for the
well, it
support on
seems
the
to be
first
the end
video.
of
If you
it.
haven't seen that one yet, then maybe check
Make
it out.
sure
I'll leave a
to hit the like button and subscribe. And chaos control!